On April 1st, 2026, 4 astronauts left Earth, flew around the Moon, and came home on April 10th. It was the first crewed lunar flyby in more than half a century. And almost immediately, the internet did what the internet does best. It looked at one of the biggest space missions in decades and said, fake. Green screens, CGI, suspicious lighting, supposedly impossible photos. A mission this historic, and within days, people were calling it a studio production with better branding. So what actually happened here? Did NASA really send astronauts around the Moon again? Or are the hoax hunters onto something? Because this time, the story is not just about whether the mission was real, it is about how a real mission can get buried under fake evidence, recycled suspicion, and AI slop moving at the speed of a panic attack. If you have heard the claim, it usually comes dressed in one of 3 costumes. First, the footage looks wrong, so it must be green screen. Second, some of the photos look too perfect, so they must be computer generated. Third, parts of the Moon's far side look illuminated in ways people think they should not, which becomes gotcha evidence that the whole thing was staged. That is the case against Artemis 2. Neat, simple, very online. Also, as we are about to see, badly stitched together. Before we get into the weirdness, here is the basic mission in plain English. Artemis 2 was NASA's first crewed Artemis flight, a lunar flyby, not a landing. The crew was Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Koch, and Jeremy Hansen. NASA describes it as a roughly 10-day journey around the Moon and back, and the mission page lists a duration of 9 days, 1 hour, 32 minutes, from launch on April 1st to splashdown on April 10th. Now here is why this spiraled. Some clips from broadcasts showed visual artifacts that conspiracy accounts treated like smoking guns. A separate viral video appeared to show astronauts hanging on wires in front of a prop capsule. And then fake Artemis 2 images started spreading online, including dramatic Moon and Earth shots that looked cinematic enough to make a Hollywood matte painter blush. Skeptics mashed all of that together into one big stew and served it as proof that the mission itself never happened. This is where the myth gets slippery, because some of the imagery people used as evidence really was fake. That part is true. Full Fact found that a viral image claiming to show the Oriental Basin from Artemis 2 was almost certainly AI generated and carried a Gemini AI watermark. Another viral image claiming to show Earth from Orion was also judged almost certainly AI made, with details that did not even match the real Orion capsule windows. So yes, fake Artemis 2 images existed. They just were not coming from the mission. They were being attached to it after the fact like counterfeit luggage tags. Start with the simplest question. If Artemis 2 was staged, what would need to be faked? Not just one clip, not just one image. NASA provided mission imagery, live briefings, scheduled live conversations with the crew, and even an online tracker so people could follow Orion's path relative to Earth and the Moon. There was a public trail for this mission, not a single press release dropped from orbit like a mystery meatball. Then there is the mission itself. NASA says the crew travelled nearly 695,000 miles in total, passed within about 4,070 miles of the lunar surface at closest approach, and reached a maximum distance of roughly 252,756 to 252,760 miles from Earth, setting a new record for the farthest humans have ever travelled. AP and Reuters both reported the same broad outcome: a real lunar flyby, a record distance beyond Apollo 13, and a safe splashdown in the Pacific on April 10th, That is not proof because 3 logos agree with each other. It matters because the public record here is wide, consistent, and messy in the very human way real events usually are. And the international angle matters too. This was not NASA in a vacuum. ESA said its European service module powered the mission, including the burn that set Orion on its free return trajectory around the moon, and noted that the injection was precise enough that 2 of the 3 planned correction burns on the way out were cancelled. ESA also marked splashdown as the end of a historic mission that brought 4 astronauts around the moon and back for the first time since Apollo 17. So the all of this was staged version has to stretch far beyond one agency and into a much larger coordinated fiction. That is a very big bridge to build from a glitchy clip and some AI garbage. Now let's deal with one of the most repeated gotchas: the far side images. Some skeptics argued that photos showing light on the far side of the moon must be fake because the far side is supposed to be dark. But far side does not mean always dark. It means the side we do not see from Earth. NASA's mission updates and official photo captions show that during the lunar flyby, Orion, the moon, and the sun aligned in a way that produced a solar eclipse. And NASA released official imagery explicitly describing the moon as backlit by the sun during that event. In other words, the lighting looks strange because space is under no obligation to resemble people's half-remembered diagrams from school. What about the green screen stuff? ITV reported that one viral video used to suggest the astronauts were hanging on wires was itself AI generated, identified through Google's SynthID watermark tool. That does not mean every skeptical clip online was AI. It means one of the loudest pieces of proof was counterfeit. And that matters because once fake proof enters the bloodstream, people stop checking the patient and start admiring the rash. There is also a pattern here older than Artemis. Space missions attract a special kind of disbelief because most of us will never personally verify one. We experience them through feeds, clips, interviews, and images. That already creates distance. Add broadcast artifacts, compression glitches, edited reposts, and AI-generated imposters, and suddenly every pixel becomes a Rorschach test for whatever somebody already wants to believe. Artemis 2 did not invent that. It just flew straight into an era where fake evidence is cheap and suspicion is treated like intelligence. So, was Artemis 2 a real moon mission or a new space-age hoax? Busted. The mission was real. NASA's own mission record lists the launch, duration, and splashdown. ESA independently described the service module's role and the trajectory around the moon. AP and Reuters reported the crew's return and the record-setting distance. The strongest viral evidence against the mission included AI-generated images falsely attributed to it, and at least one widely shared wire rig style clip that ITV reported was itself AI made. But the more interesting truth is this: the Artemis 2 hoax story was not powered mainly by one giant lie from NASA. It was powered by a pile-up of smaller things. Misunderstood lighting, broadcast artifacts, fake images, AI videos, and the old reflex that if something looks extraordinary, somebody somewhere must have filmed it in a warehouse. The myth survives because the fake evidence is now easier to manufacture than the real evidence is to understand. And that is a problem much bigger than one moon mission. So next time a huge scientific event gets declared fake within 12 minutes of happening, it is worth asking a boring question before a dramatic one. Is the evidence weird because the event is fake? Or because the internet is now a factory for counterfeit certainty? Because Artemis 2 was not busted by investigators. It was dogpiled by suspicion, then decorated with AI. And that may be the most modern myth of all.